Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 25 of Perfect Album Sides. And as we've been kind of doing on and off throughout the month, I'm getting folks from throughout the channel who appear on various shows to come on and do a Perfect Album Side episode or episodes with me. And today we've got not only the four Fusion crew together, but also three parts of In the Prague Seat. So we've got George Lemay in the house and Eric Porter joining me today. And in honor of our great show for Fusion Friday, we're going to do a all Fusion Perfect Album Side episode here today. And all of us have picked a album side classic from a Fusion favorite. So welcome, gentlemen. And Eric, why don't you kick us off with your Perfect Album Side today?
All right. Thanks for having us. And my Perfect Album Side is from 1977. It was released on Atlantic Records. And it is Jean-Luc Ponty's Enigmatic Ocean. And I've told George a number of times how much I love the combination of violin and guitar. And Alan Holdsworth and Jean-Luc Ponty are absolutely incredible on this. So if I didn't say it, I'm picking side one. The only bad thing I can say is Overture is way, way, way too short as an opener, but it's still a great opener. The thing about this that caught me, I think, right out of the gate is it's so melodic. I love Jean-Luc Ponty's playing. Great band. I want to make sure I get everybody right. We've got Daryl Sturmer, who also plays a lot of scorching guitar on this. Alan Holdsworth, Alan Zavad on keyboards, Ralph Armstrong on bass, and Steve Smith on drums. And it's a short album, about 40 minutes, but I think that was typical for back in the day. So again, Overture kicks it off. It's less than a minute, and it leaves you wanting more. I'm like, oh, keep this thing going because it's good. Leads right into Trans Love Express, has a great groove. A lot of Ponty and Sturmer back and forth. Holdsworth is he's not on yet, so you got to wait a little bit for Alan. And then the next song, Mirage, it's a little darker than the rest of the album. It's got a little dark twist to it. I love the violin on this. It's just got a real haunting sound to it. And then the suite, the title track, Enigmatic Ocean, is in 4 parts. And the only thing I can say is I wish part 2 went on for about 20 minutes. Everybody in the band, they're exchanging solos. You'll get Ponty, you get Zavad, you get Holdsworth, you get Sturmer, and they're going back and forth. And that is just absolutely amazing. I jumped ahead because I love that one so much, but part 1 kind of sets, what am I looking for? The melody, or kind of the tonal center for the piece, because they do come back to that at the end for part 4. And part 3 is more of a funky, and that's where Holdsworth really jumps out too in that one. And like I said, it kind of takes a little funk twist, but I think even like Trans Love Express is funky. So there's a lot of that in this too, but and it's actually about as close to a perfect album too as you can get, but that side A is just killer. I wish Holdsworth and Ponty had done more together, but this just leaves you wanting more, which I think is the point. You know, you do something, I never get tired of this. I can throw it on. It's always fresh. It's melodic. I did look up to see that it actually charted, which I know the music was more popular back in the day, but it was number 35 on the charts. Can you imagine a Jean-Luc Ponty album getting that high on the charts these days? I don't think so, but just absolutely fantastic. I just wish that combination had worked more together, but it's unbeatable as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, Alan showed up on a couple of Ponty albums after that with Crimes of Passion and one other, but he only plays like solos on 1 or 2 tracks on each album. It's not like he happened for the whole album, unfortunately. Yeah, they were amazing together. That was a great band, even though basically the studio band, but still really, really good.
Absolutely.
I remember you saying before, Pete, that if that band had stayed together as a unit, they're right up there with Return to Forever, Mahavishnu, everybody. I mean,
yeah. No question. But as Mr. Holdsworth showed throughout the 70s, he basically just was like the hired gun. I'll come do the album, maybe a tour, but then I'm going and doing something else, and then something else, and something else, and something else. But I still, my favorite Holdsworth material and playing is still him on all of these albums, whether it be Jean-Luc Ponty or Tony Williams' Lifetime or Soft Machine or Gong and, Bruford. That to me, that's the Holdsworth I like to listen to the most. I love his solo stuff too, but to me, he was always better in these other bands. UK, he was great playing stuff for other people. I always thought.
Yeah, you've said that quite a bit, Pete, in the past, and I couldn't agree with you more. I really do. I enjoy him as a guest more than I do his own work. Not that I don't like his solo stuff, but it's like he just comes in and they just tell him lights out, and that's what he does on these guest appearances.
Yep.
And Ponty tended to do that too, where he didn't use the same band record to record.
That's true.
That's the only one that Steve Smith is on, for instance. So
yeah. I like. I think Sturmer and Holdsworth play off each other pretty well too, because they're so different, right? You've got Holdsworth's kind of legato stuff going on, and Sturmer on this album anyway is much more of a rock tone, pure rock tone.
Yeah.
I think it works well,
It does. Yeah. There is a big tonal difference. I mean, it's not one of those where you're going to sit there and go, which one is that? I mean, you pick it out immediately. So good point.
Yeah, it's not like on the like live album where you've got Levano and Jamie Glasser, right? Who both kind of sound a little alike. I think it's very hard to tell those guys apart. So well, that's a great choice. I think we've got 3 good ones for you today. So George, your perfect album side.
Mine, I decided to go 1976, Return to Forever, Romantic Warrior. I like the idea of doing a B-side too, because as we know through the years, labels and artists have tended to front load all the good stuff. So I was like, is there a B-side out there? I'm like, yeah, there is. Another thing that sets this one off is that probably not many albums that you're going to have in this series where every song on the side is written by a different guy. That's pretty unusual. I'd be willing to bet that doesn't happen again, but
no.
Kicks off with Majestic Dance, which is written by Di Meola. To me, this doesn't sound like any other song that Al Di Meola ever wrote. It certainly doesn't sound like his solo albums, which are more Latin influenced. It's kind of maybe shades of Zappa, some of the following runs, the unison stuff. Strong melodically in the harmony in the front that he plays, and he plays it at the tail end too. Just really gets to me. No traditional solo in this song too, which is unusual. He's got a couple short bursts at the end of the so-called verses, but no traditional solo in this one. I found that interesting. Then you got The Magician, which Stanley Clarke composition. This is another one that I'm not sure it sounds like anything else that Stanley wrote. I think they were writing to this concept of the album, and so it took them out of their comfort zone maybe. There's none of Stanley's funk that most of his stuff from back then is pretty groovy. None of that here. It's kind of spacey actually. Playing features a lot of runs from him, and then a spacey part in the middle. This song doesn't have a flow. It appeals to me even though it doesn't have a flow. I tend to be more of a guy that likes things in a kind of an order, but this doesn't really have a traditional form. But it's another song that just, in the moment I heard this album, it stuck with me. But the Pièce de Résistance is Chick's masterpiece, The Duel, The Jester, and The Tyrant.
Yeah.
There's not much you can say about it. It's perfect construction. Long build up into a Di Meola solo followed by a Chick solo, both of which are as good as anything they ever did. I mean, chops, but they stick with you too. The phrasing really sticks in your head. Then there's a long trading section with Di Meola, Clarke, and White trading soloing before it goes to a long outro too. Like, Chick wasn't content to introduce a part and then reprise the part. He was always writing a whole new thing. Like, that could have been a song on its own, but especially with his epics, he tended to put a lot of work into it. And this song, I mean, they love it. Obviously, they brought it back for the '83 reunion. They brought it back in 2008. This is definitely one of the fans' favorite songs through the years. Well, I would say one of mine as well. Actually, learned this back in the day, and just Lenny White's parts, all they sing on this. 1976, you had a lot of shorter sides, but this is 21 minutes, these three tunes. So that was good too. Overall, I would just say I could have gone actually with side A of Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy. Also, I love that side, but this is where I'm at because I do like Di Meola better than Connors. I know a lot of people don't, but I definitely do. So this was my side.
Yeah, I can't argue at all. And you could even make a case for side one.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, I'm going with Mahavishnu Orchestra, and I was like, well, which side do I choose? Because there's a few of them that fall into this category, and I decided to go with. I was actually kind of surprised when I looked at all the sides that were up for debate for me, and I was like, you know what? And I'm also going to go with a side B today, and I'm going to go with side B of 1973's Birds of Fire. And at first, when I sat down, I was kind of like, well, it probably customary to choose side one here, but then as I went through, I'm like, there's Sapphire Bullets of Pure Love, kind of filler.
Yeah,
Thousand Island Park is pretty good. Hope is okay, even though Birds of Fire, Miles Beyond, and Celestial Terrestrial Commuters are dynamite. But then I was like, all right, well, let me go re-listen to side B, and you got One Word, which is nearly 10 minutes long. And to me, it's like an extension of what Miles and the guys were doing, like Jack Johnson time. And it's just brooding and dark and kind of funky, and this just jagged McLaughlin solo is just amazing. And it's pretty heavy but again, this band was pretty heavy. Cobham is killing it. And then you got Sanctuary, which again, just brooding, menacing, just building in tension. Great song. And then the absolutely joyous Open Country Joy, which is like, what do you even call that? I don't even know, right?
Yeah.
Really fusion. It's like something, if the Dixie Dregs didn't say, we like that song, we're going to make a band that sounds like that. That's basically what it is, right? I mean, it's like Open Country Joy is totally like Dregsian, but way before the Dixie Dregs were even together. And then perhaps the most mysterious, darkest, ominous song on the entire album is Resolution at the end, which again just kind of drifts along, and it's just like, man, the violin and just so good. And I was like, well, you know what? It's side B for me, because I think I wouldn't change anything on side B. There's no skipping anything on here. Not that I would skip side one either, but I don't think it's loaded with 5-star classics. Side two, however, One Word, Sanctuary, Open Country Joy, and Resolution. Doesn't get much better than that. I could have picked side one of Intermounting Flame, and that was my first instinct, but I was like, I always talk about Intermounting Flame, so I wanted to give a little love to Birds of Fire today. So that is my choice. Side B, Birds of Fire. We got side B of Romantic Warrior, and side one of Enigmatic Oceans by Jean-Luc Ponty. Three of perhaps the best fusion albums of the 70s. And if they're not the top three, they're easily in the top 10 without question. So there you have it, everybody. I was just thinking, this is the first time we've done any instrumental sides in this entire series so far. So pretty cool. So for those of you who think that, a perfect album side has to include all songs with vocals, maybe not. And in our opinions, definitely not. So, and there are more of these. So we'll be doing more of these fusion classics as well, because there are other perfect album sides to be tackled, I think. So, but more on that later, as we say here on the channel. So thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know what you think of these perfect album sides that we've talked about today, as well as list your perfect album sides. I know a lot of you who've been watching have gotten very smart with this. They're like, well, when Pete's by himself, we'll give one perfect album side. If he has a guest, we'll give two, because Pete and his guest are doing two. Now you got three of us today. So, and you had three of us recently with the UK connection and myself. So if you want to give three perfect album sides today, go right ahead and do that. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. For Eric Porter and George Lemie, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Join the three of us next month in early June for 4 Fusion Friday, and each and every week on In the Prog Seat on Tuesday nights. So take care, everybody. See you tomorrow morning with another Perfect Album Side. Till then, bye-bye.